Hello, Gemini. Up next is your June 2020 Practically Soulful reading. Now, how often are we gifted with an opportunity in our lives to truly get to the core of our deeper drives and desires when it comes to love, intimacy, and connection? I see many Geminis have been on a massive 3-year journey of integrating a lot of wisdom and seeing themselves perhaps in their patterning in a whole new way. But you guys are launching the north node of an ecliptical cycle with this full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius at the beginning of June. The next 2.5 years of your life offers massive transformation, especially in the realms of connection and connectivity, divine love. And all of us, we have a shadow and a light side, you know, so too does love. We experience its shadows and we experience its light. But there is a fundamental gift and opportunity for you to truly surrender to a whole new way of being, a whole new way of perceiving yourself and your journey to date and everything you've learned, to truly transform and grow and experience growth, not just this month of June, but for the rest of the journey ahead as you lead that ecliptical cycle. Where you are now compared to where you can be are 2 different points in the timeline, yeah? How much can we truly be grateful for everything we've been on, everything we've experienced, and what you can be grateful for coming up? There's a whole lot more. This is fundamental consciousness shift. It is massive, and not all journeys are for everyone. It takes a brave soul to do so. But I see here you've been selected by the divine in many ways, and how you navigate that path is completely yours and yours alone. Keep watching, it's up next. Gemini, welcome to my channel. My name is Ali from Indigo Ascension. If this is your first time here, you can find out a little bit more about the work that I do as an intuitive energy healer and reader at the links below to my Facebook and website address. My channel is dedicated to empaths, sensitives and intuitives, those that find themselves on the awakening path and journey to connect in to what you guys already intuitively know. That is a very big part of the work that I do. We are all gifted with divine intuition, mother's instinct, gut knowing, whatever you want to call it. There is a purpose for having an information feedback channel, if you like, that really just complements our experience of ourselves and our experience within our lives. And that can be tapped into whenever we choose and amplified and strengthened as much as we want it to. So welcome. Now I'm going to be doing your June Practically Soulful reading. I also like to incorporate a little bit of a cosmic recap for all of my readings, just to give everyone an idea of, you know, along with the theory of as above, so below, planetary placements, no different to the moon cycle, does influence us, and more importantly provides us with an alchemical opportunity to tap into transformation if we so choose. Now June offers 5 planets in retrograde, where we're just coming out of a very big month of May, which really just June adds to this. Now May gifted us with 4 planets in retrograde, and I talk about that in the videos that I've already got on my channel for May, if you want to go and take a look. The 4 planets being Saturn, Pluto, Venus and Jupiter, which as a collective recipe, if you like, has given us an opportunity to have a think and go through the timeline, go through all of the things that we've learned in the past, what we've been grown in, what we've been taught by family, religion, society or otherwise when it comes to love, intimacy and connection, what our love language is, how we connect to others, how we take advantage of opportunities that are presented to us, how we deal with manifestation and growth, or how we perhaps might push that away because of fear. Pluto likes to take us through the subconscious awareness of our deeper drives and fears when it comes to all of those things, and Saturn gives us an opportunity to reflect on what rules we've been living by and which rules are right for us moving forward now that we become more aware of ourselves and repeat patterns perhaps. It's very common in retrograde season to experience themes from the past, whether that is a person coming back from the past, whether it is old healings that need to happen, because our awareness, it is now in our conscious awareness of what our true drives and motivations and fears are. You know, in June, we've got 2 eclipses. Make no mistake, we're going to be eclipsing a lot that ties into all of these themes in many ways, and we're going to be kicking off a brand new ecliptical cycle thanks to the full moon in Sagittarius, which is happening as we speak. Now, we've closed a 2.5-year cycle with an ecliptical cycle led by Cancer and Capricorn. So you're going to be noticing that whatever it is that has been permeating, developing in the last 2 years for you personally is coming to some sort of level up or closure in some way. And we launch ourselves into the new chapter of our experience, or a whole new book altogether. Now, with Mercury going retrograde on the 10th, we're going to be making the most of all this introspective energy that's been gifted to us thanks to global conditions, as well as the energy of the retrogrades, which makes us very introspective to go deep. Mercury, as a communication energy, wants us to communicate our authenticity. Hence, when it's in retrograde, we find issues with communications and misunderstandings, travel delays, that sort of thing. There is no forward movement per se. Perhaps that is quite simply because we've never truly been taught to authentically communicate. It's not encouraged in our society. It's not encouraged necessarily. And that's not to say that everyone's a liar, but how common is it to experience genuine transparency and authenticity? More often than not, you'll see that we all develop habits in some way that lead us to suppress our truth, our emotions, our deeper desires and dreams, yeah? We don't like to go against the grain or go against anything that makes us feel like we stand outside of society's expectations. So Mercury is wanting this energy out, and so we're going to be noticing, and definitely because of the themes of Mars into the mix, and there's so much planetary activity to really talk about, but with this shift in the nodes, with the shift in the ecliptical cycle, with the shift in, you know, into Cancer season 2, with all these retrogrades thrown into the mix, it really is a recipe for a lot of energy that's going to make us want to feel like we want the new, but very much feel frustrated because we're not quite there yet. So we're going to notice themes of love and hate, restriction versus, excuse me, oppression versus, you know, freedom. And yeah, there is a potential for quite aggressive energy there. So how we handle that all depends on how deeply we know ourselves and how much we are willing to really go within, yeah, which has been gifted to us already in the last 6 weeks. So where that story takes you personally is going to be unique to you, and please know that all of life is cyclical, okay? So yep, that's great, Ali, there's a whole recipe of planets that can really launch me into transformation. That sounds promising, but as human beings, we're very reluctant to truly embrace change for what it is, because we're quite used to the fear of the safety net of what is known, no matter whether that is right for us or not, no matter how much we dream. So it does take quite a lot of work to really push ourselves into that transformation energy. But it is there nonetheless, Gemini. And like I said, life is cyclical, and these opportunities will continue to present to us until our awareness raises to such a point that our consciousness cannot accept anything other than what it is we are choosing to change moving forward. That's how it works. All right, let's take a look at your energy for the month. Now, I fondly call this the energy cross. All right, these soul cards provide you with the optimal energy conditions that are available to you should you choose to take advantage of them. You'll hear me talk about the 4 quadrants. You might want to divide that up into the 4 weeks of the month. However, in my healing work, I do constantly refer to, in all my videos, I do refer to the 5 bodies and levels of being. We are more than just a physical, we're an emotional body, a thought body, an energy body, and a soul. And it's quite common to see in our mainstream world. We're very used to the 3 lower levels, yeah? Our society teaches us to focus on the physical, what is tangible, what is seen, because it can be held and seen as something that is there in order to be believed. We definitely know about our emotions, but quite commonly we're more used to perhaps repressing emotions and not truly acknowledging them for the potency that they are when it comes to creative force and change, and being able to recognize messages internally. We're also aware that we have a thought body. Again, most of us are quite familiar with being caught up in our heads and haven't quite taken the journey to really explore the potency and possibility of how much the mind really is one of our greatest mastery tools that can help us shift consciousness. And, you know, further still is our energy body when it comes to sensitivity, psychic ability, and sensory outside of the realms of what is normal and accepted. And then our soul, you know, there are many thoughts and theories out there that we are eternal beings and reincarnation is real. Now, how do all those 5 levels within me and you connect in and balance? And we each are unique in our own experience of those 5 levels and how much focus we give them. However, what if to experience true embodiment, if we are these empowered empaths with access to higher consciousness, perhaps we really need to merge all 5 levels of ourselves and really ground down that higher consciousness knowing from soul into the everyday realities that we find ourselves in to truly make the most of our experience. That's why we're here, yeah? Why did we come? Why did we reincarnate? Was it to experience misery? But misery is a great wisdom teacher, yeah? So too is joy, and all of life is cyclical. All right, surrender, growth, doubt. In the past, you've got worry, and in the future is gratitude. Beautiful. Underneath all of this has been the energy of regret that you've been processing, Gemini, on some level. You know, when we're working with that energy of regret, we're definitely focused on the past, yeah? It's the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It's the decisions we've made or others have made that have led to the weight of consequences of where we are now. You know, I was driving this morning and I was only just thinking, like it came to me, what if we were so empowered and able to truly wear the weight of consequences for every choice, every decision we've ever made about ourselves and our life? What if we were able to truly wear the weight of emotional and thought energy as jewels around our neck, pridefully, with purpose, because we know that we have made these choices with the full intention of an open heart? That's not to say that we've made choices, Gemini, based on the highest outcome and perfect ideal, because that would be kind of naive, really. No one ever starts anything. Relationship, opening their heart, taking a risk with their creative or business endeavors, careers, whatever the case may be. No one ever starts anything thinking it will not end aligned to a higher ideal that we might perhaps invest so much time envisioning, building towards. But how freeing would it feel if we were able to wear the weight of the consequences of our choices like jewels around our neck, knowing that we would still wear them pridefully because they are the unique gems and gifts that we have, regardless of how those threads of timelines turn out. Are we always making choice? Because it would perhaps even push us into some really heavy contemplation about, am I making choices out of fear or am I making them out of love? And if we can truly get to a point that feels so freeing, where we were making choices regardless of outcome, that because right here, right now, this is what I know about myself. This is what I know about what I want and what feels right for me. It aligns with me practically. And I will make this choice based on the fact of everything that I am right now. And I will not discount the fact that growth won't happen. Because if we're wanting growth, we have to also accept the consequence that growth could mean a transformation in feelings, circumstances, realities between us and another, between us and an experience. Will I grow with it? Am I willing to grow with it? And in doing so, can I wear those jewels around my neck as the beautiful decoration and evidence of everything I've ever been through that I wear with pride, knowing that it is symbolic of everything that I've been through? Perhaps we would make a lot more decisions consciously based on deeply knowing ourselves with full acceptance and no judgment. Judgment keeps us stuck in the past when we're thinking in regret. It really disrupts our base energy. You know, the The first chakra, the root chakra, is the root of everything that we are, what we are deeply grounded in. The truths, the beliefs, the knowing, the drives. What am I deeply grounded in? And as we move into the second chakra, the sacral chakra, this is the center of our reproductivity. What are we reproducing based on the energy that I'm deeply grounded in? What am I continually repeating? And is it harmonic or disharmonic? If I'm making choice out of fear from an unhealthy base chakra, then naturally that's going to flow and touch all energy centers and chakras, yeah? It's going to affect my ability to reproduce in the way that I'm wanting to manifest, but yet subconsciously need to realize what I'm deeply grounded in first in order to truly clear the deck. If I can make choices based on having simply no weight of what it means to carry the potential of regret, then I know that I'm always going to be responding and being myself to the best of my knowing and ability in every moment. And that should something happen that doesn't align with my ideal, then I will respond to it accordingly with a full heart and a strong centered knowing of what my intentions are for myself and what my intentions are for anyone that crosses my path. Maybe that's how we complicate things, Gemini, as we start things, make choices without being completely clear about our genuine intentions for self, or not being aware of the genuine intentions of another. And we hope for the best, completely invested in a conditional outcome. And if growth and surrendering to deep gratitude is unconditional love, then nothing that comes before it, that shapes it, can be conditional. I see in the past here, there's worry, this is the stress of anxiety, this is being concerned about the future steps based on my concern about the past perhaps. I don't want to have regrets, so I'm making structured choices, not perhaps conscious choices. I'm making strategic choices that feed fear. If I'm in anxiety, I'm perhaps recreating this original platform that I'm growing in, that only feeds in and creates circumstances that are similar and reflective of what it is that I'm grounded in, Gem. They do say that regret is a big focus on the past and worry is perhaps a focus on the future. But what about the here and now? The here and now, what you are centered in, it's asking you to surrender. And I get it. You're like, surrender to what, Ali? I don't know if this thing's going to work out for me. And so what if it doesn't? Are you willing to surrender to the magic of now so that you can truly experience how that feels like, Gemini? Just for now, just for this time, just for you. We are completely empowered in our willpower, because I see this is what you're growing. You are growing the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. There's a big focus here underneath everything of the base and sacral chakra. You must surrender and really bust through these base chakra beliefs. Look at the graphic. With every fiber and cell of your being, look how it looks like a cell. We are asked to surrender to the process of growth and transformation. And I say this quite a lot in a lot of my videos, whether we have been pregnant or not, Gemini, our eternal truth, the very way in which we have begun this life, is as a spark of creation. Before the cell was formed, at the moment of conception, at the merging of those two energies, of feminine and masculine, it produces a divine spark. It cannot even be labeled. I think there probably is a label in science. I've come across it once before. But it is akin to the exploding atom even. It's akin to a supernova, the birth of a star. That energy, it is an energy, it is an explosion of energy that then merges and creates a cell which duplicates and recreates into the zygote, which human life is formed, and how any life is formed is this cyclical process of accelerated reproduction. Growth is our birthright. We have grown ourselves. And whether we've been pregnant or not, if the eternal truth is we are originally birthed from that spark of energy, that spark of energy exists within us at all times. To go to the center and rediscover that is perhaps the key to growth and transformation. That we can bust out of old paradigms and beliefs and anything that was told to us, given to us, all the rules. This is all that Saturn retrograde stuff, yeah? This is also Jupiter retrograde stuff. How do you surrender to growth? What needs to bust and break and completely transform from the inside out at every fiber and cell and level of your being? What is the core? Surrender to understanding the core is what I keep picking up on. I pick up on so many different messages depending on the energies and frequencies I'm connecting into. Whoever views this, that's my soul intent, is that the message that is needed by the soul or souls that are watching will be received at exactly the right time. It's meant to, for healing, for activation, for confirmation. But I see this, and it's not about surrendering. I don't feel a surface level of telling you, Gemini, just surrender. Like, there is something here that a lot of Geminis are deeply working on. That is the center of your energy this month. You know, the goal is growth, Gem. Like, the goal is growth and an expansion of that solar plexus, your life force. Growth is guaranteed and promised. And there is a very strong possibility that you can really end the month in deep gratitude for the events and culmination of everything that happens and everything you learn this month. This all ties into your relationship with worry and regret. This all ties into how you doubt yourself because of the anxiety, how you doubt the process of life. All of life is cyclical, and perhaps when we focus on these energies, it is doubt that keeps us stagnant and still. I've released the need to know all the answers, which very much is summed up by everything I said earlier about, you know, what if we could make those choices? I was really drawn to tell you and share you the thoughts I was having while I was driving this morning. What if we can wear the consequences of our choices like jewels upon our neck? Because we've made each choice with an open heart, with a full connection to our dearest intentions, knowing that we are only ever restricted by the potential we can keep ourselves stagnant. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. We all eternally can be stuck in an energy of worry and regret and doubt and keep recreating that pattern. It's recreating that from the core of who we are, from our base beliefs, which flood and touch every chakra, Gemini. It then pollutes our sacral chakra and our ability to be creative and feel sensual and confident. It pollutes our willpower, our solar plexus, which is our life force and our vitality, our confidence, which pollutes our heart chakra from opening and experiencing true gratitude and genuinely saying, I love the path that I'm on and I love who's in my life. I love my life and I'm grateful for everything that's ever happened to me. Which then obviously keeps us repressed from speaking our truth, so that we feel everything is flowing outside of us just as much as we're allowing experiences and energy to flow into us, which ultimately pollutes how we see ourselves and our lives and our past, and whether we are truly open up to the genuine potential and possibilities that we are trying to make manifest. Thoughts, dreams, meditations are great and all, but how am I grounding that down to the here and now in a very authentic and thorough way, so that I can truly understand the process that energy is creating and experiencing within me, and what's blocking that from truly grounding down to the here and now? Is it regret that keeps me back? There's an opportunity to experience true gratitude this month. And I don't know who this was. It might have been, was it Virgo? Virgo. Look at this. If I did that, what does that look like? It looks like an eye. And gratitude, genuine gratitude, I was going to call you Virgo, maybe you're connected to a Virgo. Genuine gratitude, Gemini, leaves us feeling completely free so that we can see ourselves and our possibilities with a whole new perception. More freeing still. We can cast our eyes back on our past and see how everything has shaped us to get us to exactly where we are now. And we are grateful for the wisdoms that we take with us. We don't need to carry the weight, otherwise it starts to feel like regret. We take only the wisdom and the lessons with us. And now ready? Look, it looks like the birth canal. It's the birth of a new you, a birth of a new consciousness, a birth of altered perception, a whole new way of seeing yourself and experiencing life. There's a strong potential here for growth and genuine gratitude and this birthing of a new you if you truly surrender. But take those strong consciousness concepts I mentioned earlier with you in here, as deep as you need that to go. Because I get it, as an outsider, it's so easy. Hey, Gemini, you've got an opportunity to feel deep gratitude for your journey thus far. You can release worry, and I get it, guys. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And it's all well and good for an outsider to say, here's a simple pathway, you know, but this is the opportunity and the gift that is available to you as an alchemical process, whether you choose to dive deep, whether you choose to do this thoroughly bit by bit. You know, maybe you are at different points, each of the Geminis I'm speaking to are at different points in the timeline where you've only just started to integrate this. It's only just become made aware to you. Maybe you're halfway through this journey already and you're seeing evidence of growth as you move away from worry and regret as your guiding forces. I feel more strongly I'm connecting into Geminis that are becoming aware of this process and desire, that they're wanting to really integrate this wisdom. Okay, I want to see what the tarot wants to say for you, my loves, and see how that confirms the frequencies and storylines that I'm picking up on here, Gemini. Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities it presents, Gemini. All opportunities are classrooms for growth, and that's the gift of these retrogrades, is that there's a very big focus on our ability to connect. What does intimacy mean to me? What does connection mean to me? Two of Cups, a whole new way in which to experience our emotional reflection of self within another. This energy of Two of Cups always starts with self. What I experience and see outside of me, I experience and see within me. And Gemini, in the tarot, you guys are the Lover's card, which is divine love, which is this journey. I didn't even tell world, your whole world. You are closing an old cycle and starting a whole brand new one, especially in the realms of love. I didn't tell you. You guys are kicking off. I'm so sorry. You guys are kicking off your ecliptical cycle with this full moon in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is leading the South Node. You guys are leading the North Node. You're very much focused on the future. The best way to do this, you know, ask any Cancer. They just come out of, they will finish their final solar eclipse at the end of June, okay? They too have led the North Node most recently. Okay, the North Node very much asks us to look ahead, look at the future. Definitely look back at the past, but if we're sitting in the past too long, that's perhaps more best invested by those that might be leading the South Node. Okay, so Sagittarius is leading the South Node, and Sagittarians are given a beautiful opportunity to truly get intimate with their true wisdoms that have been gained from the past, perhaps after years and years of not really addressing it. Now, I'm not saying they haven't, I'm not saying you haven't, but you are going to notice a distinct energy shift within you whereby you are genuinely wanting to focus on you, and if anything doesn't align to that or fit into that, then, you know, so be it. You're also going to be simultaneously looking at the past, because Sagittarius opposes you. You're going to look at your opposite, everything the mirror has taught you, you know. It also rules your 7th house of relationships. Now, the devil. I was still thinking of the 2 of Cups. God, listen to this. So, Gemini, you guys rule your major arcana in the tarot. Tarot is the Lovers. The 2 of Cups is the minor arcana version of that. Whatever you thought about love when the 2 of Cups popped out has perhaps been an infancy version, all right, of what you will achieve, realize, and come to know and decide for yourself when it comes to what divine love can be for you. And that is always experienced within here first, okay? So the 2 of Cups is the minor arcana of the Lovers card. There are 2 people. Interestingly enough, under all of this, just like under all of this is regret, look at the similar colors. The Devil card in this deck, I get it, he's solitary, all right? But the Devil card in traditional tarot is 2 individuals that it's quite dark energy. They're bound, they feel stuck, it feels suffocating. It's suggestive of toxic behaviors, patterning, you know, feeling tied when we don't want to, but not really realizing how free we are to decide to untie ourselves. That is the energy of the Devil. And if you look at the Devil card and the Lovers card, let me just do this. I don't usually do this. I should just get into your reading. Let's find the Lovers card. No, I need a traditional tarot deck. Sorry. Okay, Gemini, welcome to Tarot 101. I should start doing that, actually. I might do some videos on the channel for people that do want to learn. Let me find it. I want to show you these 2 cards so you can see the polarity of what I mean here. Bear with me, Gemini. You guys have got a big 2 years ahead. Is it going to be hard? A little, a lot. Is it going to be freeing? A lot. Yes, it is. Have I passed it already? God. I need to do this. I'm very called to do this so you can see. You probably already know what I'm talking about if you do your own tarot. Alrighty. Look at this. Shadow and light. Yes? The Devil and the Lovers. You are the twins. You know that love and connection can be started, grown, and formed and look like this at any point in the journey, or it can look like this. So too can our intentions, Gemini. This is what I was saying and what I was talking about extensively about getting to the core so that we can really identify our core drives, core beliefs that ultimately infiltrate and touch every fiber and cell of our being, every energetic level, every belief, there's a core thing that you guys will be transmuting in the next 2 years that affect connection, that affect relationships on all levels. And we know that it can either be shadow or light. The 2 of Cups, as a minor arcana card, is the promise. It is a promise. But just as promised is the temptation for things. Look at the snakes. Is the temptation, okay? And what's a temptation? Well, we're always constantly oscillating between a choice to make intentions and decisions and communicate that is tainted by intentions that look like this or feel like that or look like this. We're always guided over by something, okay? What is your guide? Is it of higher light or is it of darkness and fueled by the human shadows? This same snake exists here as a temptation, yeah? So then there's never any perfect or ideal connection or way in which to experience love. Our whole world exists to show us polarity, and that there is truth in both, that yes, that exists. And yes, that exists for me as a reality option. So too does this. At every moment I make a choice, Gemini. What am I fueled by every decision, every choice, every belief? What am I fueled by? Am I fueled by some form of shadow ego or fear? Or am I fueled by higher intentions and light and love? And in our wisdom and in our growth, Gemini, we learn the depths of self always through the reflection of the other. Is any relationship perfect? No. But our relationship with self is perhaps what needs to be focused on, what needs to be focused on when it comes to how we experience relationship with others. And perhaps that is what the theme is for you over the next 2 years, as promised by you leading an ecliptical cycle from the North Node. It is going to be a big focus on you and what you want, who you are. And that can be completely different to everything and anything you've ever known yourself to be. Your perceptions are surely set to change when it comes to self, your past, your potential, and your purpose. All right, my love, let's take a look. Page of Swords, the Hermit, the Devil, the Knight of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Three of Swords, the King of Swords, the Lovers, the Queen of Wands, the Hierophant, the Fool, the Knight of Wands. Underneath all of this is the Knight of Swords. There's a lot of people and influences involved. And when I say people, it could be people that have shaped me. It could have been relationships that have shaped me. It could be other people's opinions, the ones that I've taken on board as truth for me. And that may have suited me at that time, whether it's family values, religious values, or whatever the case may be. But we are continually growing and expanding, Gemini. Okay, underneath all this is fast-moving energy and at least the desire for growth and unification. I see that here. You're very much desiring, the World card jumped out, you're very much desiring to let go of an old world, an old way of being, an old way of connecting, and wanting to start a whole new version of yourself, start a whole new version of living and loving that is based on higher principles, and feeling passionate about that and confident about that, okay? That is the gift at the end of this month, to truly see the spiritual principles of the higher lessons that you've learned and integrated this whole time when it comes to the realms of love and connection and intimacy. And in the words of Teal Swan, intimacy is into me, see? All right? So that we can be reignited in our passion for path and purpose again. And we know confidently what our choices and intentions will be moving forward and who aligns to our beliefs. Yeah, I do see here you're starting the month in a very watch and wait energy. Maybe you're waiting on communications. Maybe you are dealing with a Virgo. A Virgo and a Capricorn have popped up for you here. But these Virgo and Capricorn energies are very much exactly like I explained the Devil energy before. It's that shadow element, the shadow influences of connecting. When it comes to love, when it comes to feeling oppressed by the very fear that exists within us as human beings, so that we may test the boundaries of what it means to be unconditional, what it means to be open, what it means to be vulnerable. Keeping ourselves closed and alone is a safety mechanism in many ways, and there's been a need here to go to the center of wisdom in some way when it comes to toxic behaviors, toxic beliefs, or any ways in which we push away opportunity, because that's relevant here, Virgo. But I mean, I keep looking at them. Maybe you are connecting into a Virgo, Gemini. Okay? The toxic ways in which we push away genuine authenticity and love and not communicate honestly, because this is a watch and waiting card. Like when the Page of Swords shows up, I'm watching and waiting. It could even be a stalking card. Maybe we're watching someone or something from the past with which we're trying to, or feeling watched by someone from our past, because this is not openly communicating with each other. Like that's why it's affectionately called the stalking card, you know. We're not ready to have these wise conversations when it comes to toxicity. We're not ready to have these wise conversations when it comes to unhealthy attachment. And that is the gift of the Devil card, is to really identify the ways in which we are limiting ourselves from freedom. Because in the Devil card, that couple, I know it's a single person here, that couple, wow, I just had another message come through. In the traditional Devil card, that couple does not feel free, okay? There's something at influence that makes them feel not free. They're tied and drawn to toxic behaviors and the creation of an idea that they're just bound to this, and that's just it, and that's just how this connection will always be. And sure, depending on how we grow and glow, sometimes we have to take a solo journey to truly integrate, and sometimes people don't continue on the path with us. Sometimes we meet others that do. Okay? By going to the wisdom within, Gemini, we can truly, and look, this, okay, so even though this is not like traditional tarot, he is on his own. So perhaps when it comes to a connection, when it comes to our experience of love, there was one particular person that was responsible for the toxicity. And it's about getting wise and acknowledging that. And perhaps not even authentically communicating that truth yet, whether it was ourselves or another. It's not acknowledged, but someone's waiting on a communication and confirmation of that. There is also communication coming as far as guidance, higher knowing, okay? Our thought change, because the Page of Swords rules the realms of our mind. Our mind has shifted because we've taken the time to really go within and connect to wisdom. When it comes to human ego and how fragile it truly can be, and dip us into darkness and temptation that is otherwise not aligned to our higher purpose and desires. Why do I continually attract individuals that have these patterns and behaviors that I am continually trying to process and feel stuck within or want to get away from? Well, then perhaps it's a reflection of me. Perhaps there's something in the other that these guys see equally just as beautiful. They think, oh, you're amazing. Well, I think you're amazing too. You're everything I've ever wanted. And it's exactly the same energy, but just a different way of communicating. I hate your toxic behaviors. I hate yours. I don't know why you always do this. They're speaking about themselves. Anything we detest in another exists within us on some level, or exists within us as a need to be processed and transmuted. And I get it. As an empath, I fundamentally disagree with the whole complications that come with, well, Ali, do I just keep attracting people that hurt me because I deserve to be hurted, because that's what I believe? Well, there's so much complexity to the whole process, but on some level it's so important to ask ourselves, what makes me want to attract people that are not right for me? Am I making initial choices that are based in ego because I'm wanting to be accepted and attention feels nice and here it is, so I'll take it? Am I doing things and continually giving because I'm looking for approval, because I didn't grow up in an environment that readily gave me approval? Whatever the case may be, Gem, there's a thought process here that is coming in, and definitely there's a desire to communicate something. This communication always starts with self, okay? There's wisdom here that can and has been gained at the start of June. I do see there's a lot of conflict when it comes to how we open and offer our heart. There's been blocks in genuinely being able to open our heart to connection, wanting to offer our love. I felt like I've had to be guarded and protect myself and keep my guard up, because all that love has ever brought in my life is conflict. Make no mistake, there's a process here where we are processing heartbreak. The last 3 years are relevant. How is every time I open my heart and want to offer my heart actually tainted by heartbreak and the remnants of the past? I want to open my heart in full, but I'm still in this youthful level, because the Knight is a youthful energy compared to the Queen and compared to the King, yeah? I have not yet gained the wisdom to truly process the heartbreak I need, perhaps, and I need to give myself time to do so and truly look at the internal conflict within that has been reflected in my outside reality. Why do I keep repeating patterns, choices? Why do I keep attracting similar people, behaviors, experiences? Perhaps it's not until we truly experience a genuine shift, and every progress is progress, okay? A genuine shift in how we feel free to offer our heart and how we notice less conflict in the new connections that do come through. Maybe that is indication that growth has happened and we have transmuted pain. It's not about just going, okay, no more heartbreak. It's a slow and steady progress of surrender, of recalibrating core energies, yeah, so that we have no regrets. It's a consciousness shift. Here you are, the Lover's card with the Queen of Wands and the King of Swords. This month gives you with the ideal opportunity to truly connect into the divine confident, divine light energy of the Queen of Wands, as well as a really strong analytical. And you guys, this is your element as well, okay? To really become the master of your element. You are ruling consciousness. You rule the thought body, Gemini. But there's a union here that must take place. And perhaps that is in relation to the temptation of passion, the temptation of what confidence makes us feel and where that truly comes from, because there's a difference between power and empowerment. And it's going to take a strong mind and logic to truly accept where we're at so that true unification can happen. Union does not just happen outside of self. It happens in here first, where we are balancing the divine feminine and masculine energies within, so that that spark of life that I talked about earlier ignites the start of a new consciousness, which you could look at as divine child energy, yeah? Male, female, ignition, child, new generation. Same things happen on our healing journey when we genuinely merge our dark and light, our shadow and light, our higher self and human self, you know, the divine masculine and feminine energies. The divine feminine is simply like the womb. It's the intuition process. It's this solo journey that we take where we go in to seek wisdom. Okay, intuition is an internal energy that happens within. And in the masculine energy is that, like that Mercurian energy upgrades. The Mercurian energy wants us to talk, release energy. After everything I've recalibrated, updated, and now know, what am I going to act on? You know, the hunter energy, the seeker. There's a unification happening this month so that action can happen, because the Page of Swords here is telling us that there's a lot of watching and waiting, okay, to really work on downloading information about this wisdom that we're trying to gain when it comes to toxicity and toxic behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve us, that ultimately keep us stuck in heartbreak, that influence and taints everything, and it keeps us stuck in conflict within. Thanks to the Five of Wands. There's a desire here for Geminis to truly want to experience growth when it comes to feeling like they can genuinely open their heart and find another half. And I get it, our whole world, our whole society demands us to seek outside of ourselves for approval, acceptance. We're very rarely taught to deeply go within, to find that in self first, yeah? You are the divine lovers. This is Venus retrograde, and Venus retrograde is ruled by Gemini this time around. And Venus retrograde is all about how we have learned everything that we know today about love and how much you want to change that. There are so many versions of love. There are different love languages, you know, when it comes to how we're connecting into others, how we're experiencing ourselves in a reflection of another, what love has taught us, what I have decided for myself moving forward, what I need to bring into union. I feel this is very strongly within you, Gemini, rather than external to you. But it has to happen internally so that it can happen externally. There's a consciousness upgrade here. The King of Swords is the highest of the element, the highest of that suit. There's a masculine approach to our thoughts here where we're actually choosing actions based on a higher knowing. Not only are we thinking new things, but we're acting on them too. And we're feeling confident when we're doing so. Because there's a risk here. Like if I was to, I'm really drawn now to talk about the shadow elements of these, because you are dealing with shadow elements when it comes to divine love, you know, with the processing of the devil coming up. The risk here of the shadow element of these two energies, okay, when the King of Swords shows up, you know, there's a risk of us, if we're embodying this energy, we might be experiencing this energy in the continual partners we're attracting. The King of Swords is quite manipulative and it's a head game. It is this power that seeks to control power over others by manipulation, gaslighting, just mind, pardon my French, but mind effery, yeah? Like just the toxic ways in which we feel like we continually need to mentally go into battle with others to prove worth, to prove a point, to prove power. There is a very big difference between a higher consciousness that is infused with empowerment compared to one that's in its shadow, that is infused by power. Our whole world has taught us to focus on what power feels like. We have been taught to be drawn to it as something attractive. There is a very big difference between power and empowerment. You can feel it in an individual when you cross paths with them, if you're in their presence. You can feel if they're driven by power on some level, because you will feel this energy. You can feel it as an empath, as an intuitive, you can feel it. This is not just people that have bad intentions towards us. You can feel the confusion, you can feel the intentions that drives every decision, every conversation, everything they're saying. You can feel this energy, Gemini. Just as you can feel this. You can feel it, and we intuitively know it, and our society has taught us to push it away as something ridiculous and second guess ourselves. Feeling a very strong message to get this across to a Gemini, because you are on the precipice of truly deeply transforming influential subconscious beliefs and fears. We know what people feel like when they feel like the sun. We know the difference of how cold it feels in the middle of winter when we're standing under the moon in the wind. We know too what it feels like to stand like in the midday sunlight and how beautiful that feels. People are like that. Wherever they're at on the journey, it is not about having regret. They teach us. They are our wisdom teachers, Gemini. It is up to us to decide if we will just stand there and infuse all our energy and be the sun so they can feel warm. They can feel accepted, so that we're continually fueling and feeding their deeper desires that look like this, whether they're subconsciously or consciously aware of it. We can choose to show love, and sometimes love looks like a boundary line. Sometimes love looks like no, sometimes love looks like goodbye. Because we're choosing this for self. What I want for myself, I will show other people. How I want other people to treat me is how I must treat myself. There's a solo journey that we all take on some level, where we have to connect in and get intimate with the relationship we have with self, so that we can redefine what wisdom means for us. No matter how old I am or how young I am, this wisdom exists within us. No matter how much I have or haven't been through, this wisdom is available to us always. And it can truly light our path moving forward. The hermit does not worry about what has been or what will be. His light is only shining on the here and now. There are higher principles at play when the Hierophant card shows up. Maybe you're connecting into a Taurus. There are higher principles at play that teach us about non-committal energy. The Knight of Wands is non-committal energy. It's this flighty. It's also a player card. You know, it ties into. It's a younger version, a youthful version of this energy. What am I committing to that I'm not really sure if I'm in or out? You know, there's wisdoms here, higher principles, about this non-committal energy. If I'm truly committed to divine love, I will accept nothing less than it from myself in my relationship to myself, Gemini. If I am truly committed to divine love, I will accept nothing less in the relationships outside of me. Why do I feel so passionate, like you're my sister? And I just want to say, not that my sister's a Gemini or going through this, but I feel really close to the people that I'm connecting into, that I'm like, this is your pivotal moment. An ecliptical cycle is huge. An ecliptical cycle is huge, and how much growth and potential can be achieved when we truly connect into the potential of what that can be for us. There are higher principles here about divine love, and the most divine love that we can experience is the one we have with self. But then naturally reflects as this beautiful picture. Look at the stained glass behind him. It reflects the sunlight as a beautiful prism of a rainbow around our whole life. Our whole life, Gemini. When we connect to deeply go within self, it changes everything. It changes our experience of love and connection and our view of our past and our pain and trauma and everything. You know, to truly shift perception and deeply be humble enough to admit our intentions, our shortcomings, our deepest fears and what we've been driven by. To humbly get to a point like that, it opens our heart to authenticity on every level. And then the energy just flows. Like, there is a new beginning here. There is a brand new beginning. It's a 0 point card. It is amazing and it is beautiful. What you can achieve, what you've been on in the last 3 years and where you will be in the next 3 years is completely different and has nothing to look like, and looks nothing like your past. Okay? Surrender. Surrender each and every moment within each and every choice. Consciousness is your divine right. Higher consciousness is your divine right. Growth and expansion is your divine right to experience whenever you choose. And may you know that with every choice, you are the one that navigates the connections that are coming into your life, leaving your life, the boundaries that you are desiring, and that you have the freedom to keep updating and changing all of those things whenever you feel is right for you. When we know better, we do better. When we see more, we do more. Everything has been of purpose, and it has been a wisdom gift to get you to exactly where you are today. Our wounds are our teachers, our past are our teachers. No more being afraid, no more holding back from this process, from the truth of who you are. It's humbling to accept that, yes, it's nice to be the wounded healer. Okay, that's what the 9 of Wands is. But it also, that role holds us back on some level. Why do we need to get into connections where we are always the healer, Gemini? Is there a part of us that needs to be healed? Is that what we're attracting? That's continued awareness. No more regrets. Loneliness is a powerful tool. There's a difference between feeling lonely and being alone. Acceptance is completely freeing. and abundance is your divine birthright. Balance. I could keep going. Lots of love to you, Gemini. I hope you've found resonance, confirmation, clarity, and more than that, an activation for that next level of your journey. It's going to be a big 2 years. If you thought you knew yourself now, wait for it. An ecliptical cycle is a gift from the divine. And where you are now, like I said, is going to be different to where you will be in 3 years' time on every level. Namaste. Thanks for watching.